Hi, my name is Layla Taylor, and I currently teach 6th grade science at Hayhire Middle School in Lowndes County, Georgia. Hayhire Middle is one of 3 middle schools in our county system. I've been teaching at HMS for 6 years. The data that I worked with for this project are state assessments for the last 3 years, the CRCT 2013, CRCT 2014, and Georgia Milestones 2015. Overall, Hayhire Middle has always had high performance scores, usually above the district and state, in all academic areas for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We have recently seen a shift with our scores when they are evaluated in terms of growth versus performance, and last year being the first year of Georgia Milestones versus the CRCT. The purpose of this review was to locate and review demographic and student achievement of the students at Hayhire Middle School over the past 3 years. I feel this information is important because as we begin the new assessment this past school year, you'll see that the rigor has obviously increased. So some basic school demographic information for Hayhire Middle School. In terms of gender, I wanted to really disaggregate the data and look at gender and see if there is any distinct separations between male and females and maybe which academic courses are generating more growth in a particular gender. So our gender is kind of equal for all grade levels. We have 383 females and about 415 males. So it's pretty 50-50. The school population, that 70% of our school population is white and Caucasian. 21% is Black or African American. We have about 5% Hispanic and 4% other. This would be, as far as state testing, this was if they chose 2 or more races. We had a Hawaiian race and an Asian demographic group. So as you can see, the Caucasian group for our school is the largest population. Our subgroups within our school, about 34% of the school is economically disadvantaged, and that's determined by the free and reduced lunch number that we have. We have about 0.02% ELLs, or English language learners. They are served with an ESOL program at our school in which they are pooled for one class to work with an ESOL teacher during their connections classes. This is not during an academic course, in which they're helped with phonetic awareness and they get on Rosetta Stone to work with language skills. 18% of our school population is in the gifted area. They're served 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 6th grade is gifted science. 7th grade is gifted social studies, and 8th grade is gifted ELA. Then we have about 0.07 of our school population is students with disabilities. So these are students that are included in the classroom, and then this is also the ones that are separate, so a profound disability. For English, the graph that you're looking at here is showing the did not meet, meet, and exceeds category. And this is for the CRCT 2013, CRCT 2014, and then this is for the Georgia Milestones. Now the reason why the meets category is so much larger are 2 reasons. One, the Georgia Milestones created 4 sub areas in the testing. So it starts, the did not meet is with CRCT is similar to a beginning learner. The meets category is a developing or proficient learner, so they scored either a 2 or a 3, and they are still passing at a developing or proficient. But the developing they're going to be focused on the next year, put into a focus group to make sure that we're moving them up into this 3 or 4 where they're proficient. It exceeds in terms of CRCT. The exceeds category for Georgia Milestones is called the Distinguished Learner. So you can see for English across the board for Hayhire Middle School, we're used to a very low percentage of our students being in this did not meet category, and a higher percentage in exceeds versus any meets or did not meets. And this was true with CRCT 2013, 2014. Obviously, the rigor for Georgia Milestones has increased, and there are several ways that it's done this. There is extended response on the milestones versus CRCT was only multiple choice. There are some places on the milestone, there are field questions on the milestone where they have to check all that apply or check 2 that apply, and that requires some critical thinking. And then there's also various written responses and throughout the milestones. So we expected our scores to go down in terms of exceeds. I just don't think that our school is used to seeing it go from, the majority of your kids exceeding to the majority just meeting. So this is definitely an area of concern that we're looking at. And we're hoping that with this Georgia Milestones that we're about to take, because we have added in some writing courses to help students become better prepared in every single one of our assessments based on this data from last year. We looked at incorporating more extended response, more check all that apply in the daily courses or daily unit assessments that the students are taking in the class. So we're hoping to see that this score goes up next year, and that's with all of our academic areas. Mathematics is the exact same way. So you have CRCT 2013, 2014, and Georgia Milestones 2015. So 2013 we had more exceeds than meets or did not meet. 2014 they're about half and half. And Georgia Milestones, the meets category is extremely high. However, I will point out that although these scores are not where we want to see, we're striving for exceeds or distinguished learners, that it is above the state. We are above the state level in all of our content areas still. Science, we've had more. This is for 6th grade science, 7th grade science, and 8th grade science. And there has been more in the meets category. The meets and exceeds is generally half and half. And we see this to be true with science and social studies with students. One aspect that I look at in terms of science is this is one of the last day of testings in our system, and being a science teacher, I want to focus on that issue too. But just looking at the science scores, we have obviously had a lot more did not meets than we wanted to see, but it's not significantly more than the last year's. Another reason for this, if you moved some of these developing or proficient, if you moved some of them over here to our exceeds, I think you would see the exact, that we really haven't changed. And so, and this is due to the type of assessment that the milestones is still for science. It is still a completely multiple choice. The rigor has increased in terms of the questions are more toward a depth of knowledge 3 or 4, and versus a 1 or 2 content, just understanding and recall. The students are being asked to show their knowledge at a higher depth of knowledge but it is still a multiple choice assessment. Social studies. Social studies is the same. In terms of exceeds, they generally have had more exceeds in this category than that you noticed was science. So science, it was kind of about even, but with social studies, they've had, about 100 more. And this, once again, has gone down. So, and I do want to point out again that we are higher than the district and the state. So this is across the state. The scores for the distinguished learner or exceeds did go down based on the rigor of the test. So here's what I've got. This is comparing the district and the state and my school to what the state scored. So you can see that we had less did not meets than the district and the state. We had about the same in the general category of meets, and we had more exceeds or distinguished learners than the district or the state. And that is true for math. They had a few more did not meets, but our exceeds category is well above what the district or the state was. Science, we had less did not meets. We have more in this general area of developing of proficient learners. And social studies is blown it out of the park with their exceeds versus the state and even our district. Okay, so our overall strengths and weaknesses at AHIRA that I've noticed is some strengths. Once again, social studies had the highest exceeds rate on the new Georgia Milestone Assessment. HMS continues to perform above the state and the district level. 8th grade math, science, and ELA had the highest percentage of distinguished learners in our school. And this is when you disaggregate it even farther into the grade levels. And then 6th grade social studies had the highest percentage of distinguished learners as well. Some weaknesses that I've noticed is that our groups that, after drilling down into the data, our groups in the did not meets and beginning learner, I was surprised to find that the race and ethnicity, it was just all over the place. So it wasn't significantly, based on percentage, it wasn't significantly higher in one race or the other. But what did concern me is that our males and the economically disadvantaged subgroup, so the males in this did not meets and beginning learner category was always higher than the females, and then this pretty much 30% of our did not meets or beginning learner group was economically disadvantaged as well. So those are areas that we really need to focus on when we're looking at the data and when we're looking in our classrooms, is to see what are these students not getting. Do they not have access to the internet or to study tools at home? Are we being culturally aware when we're teaching? And there's just several areas that we can look at to improve with the males and the economically disadvantaged subgroup. Some more weaknesses that we had in 7th grade, math, science, and ELA had the highest percentage of beginning learners, and then 8th grade social studies had the highest percentage of beginning learners. So 8th grade social studies, that's when they get into Georgia history, and that's also, that's a brand new thing, and it's pretty hard, so that's not surprising to see so many beginning learners in this. But then 7th grade science, and math. So the question that I've left for you is, what can we do as a faculty to increase the number of distinguished learners on the Georgia's milestone test this year? We can do it.